Donc, merci d'être présent à cette édition spéciale de Troisième Mardi. On va commencer.
Bonsoir à tous. Je crois que mon micro fonctionne mieux.
Non, mais alors, OK, donc ce soir, on vous propose un format spécial des Troisième Mardi, puisque c'est l'été, beaucoup de monde sont en vacances. On fait un format un peu plus dynamique. Inspiré par les Pecha Kucha, on a demandé aux conférenciers de présenter leur sujet en 20 images, projetées pendant 20 secondes chacune. Donc, ça fait des présentations éclairs, très dynamiques. Voilà.
Eh bien, moi, j'aimerais avant tout, je sais qu'on ne le fait pas souvent, mais j'aimerais une main d'applaudissement, non seulement pour les conférenciers qui sont avec nous ce soir, mais à tout le monde, parce que avec le beau temps qu'il fait, que vous ayez choisi d'être parmi nous, je pense que ça vaut le coup. Alors, une bonne main d'applaudissement. Donc, avant de commencer, comme d'habitude, on tient à remercier nos généreux commanditaires. CNW Telbec, dont je suis moi-même un fier ambassadeur. Thornley Fallis, 76 Design, K3 Media, IABC Montréal, l'International Association of Business Communicators, pour bien entendu le travail promotionnel qui est fait autour de cette activité. Nous tenons également à remercier pour la web diffusion qui est réalisée par Christian Aubry et commanditée par notre cher collègue et ami Pierre Bouchard d'Indigo Communication. Nous tenons également à remercier la participation spéciale de DJ NU, qui est avec nous ce soir et qui va nous accompagner encore un peu plus tard. Et bien entendu, je vous invite, et d'ailleurs, je pense qu'on va se promener encore avec ce petit bac pour mettre vos cartes d'affaires et courir la chance de gagner des prix de présence.
Donc, on a 3 conférenciers qui sont avec nous ce soir. On a C.T. Moore, Julien Smith et Sylvain Grandmaison. 2 des présentations seront en anglais. We're going to start with C.T. Moore, who will speak on cloudvertising, how digital advertising will evolve. C.T. is a digital nomad who blogs and video blogs all over the worldwide interwebs. He spends his days managing communication strategy for a digital marketing agency that specializes in developing advertising software.
Alors, sans plus tarder.
Thank you very much. So when do we get rolling? Do I point at you? Do you point at me? I point at you? All right, I'm going to ask you all to bear with me. I've rehearsed this tons of times, and it never quite works out. Okay, 1, 2, 3. All right, ladies and gentlemen, thank you all for coming out. I'm going to be talking about cloudvertising, and that's not logos in the sky, but rather it's about how social media is going to change the way that we target advertising online. You're pointing at me. Are we going to re-roll? Okay. So this is the online adscape right now. We got falling CPMs, we got low click-through rates, and part of this is the recession, but part of it is user behavior, and that's because when users go online, they're going online to get online content on demand. They're not going online to see advertising, and this is a bit of a problem for advertisers. Now, just to put this in context, we kind of distrust ads because they're not the content that we want to see. Rather, when I go online, I'm going online to get something really specific, and I don't want to be sold to, and I don't want to be marketed to. And this is even more true in the case of social media. In social media, I'm going online to interact with other people. I don't want to be marketed to. I want to talk to people. And here are a few different ad models that people are using to talk to me right now. You got cost per acquisition, which is pretty much a safe bet for most advertisers, but offers no targeting. You got cost per click, where you can actually target users based on the keywords they're searching for, but that's still kind of ad hoc. And you got cost per impression, which is, for all intents and purposes, a hangover from the billboard and print media ad days. And all of these share a weakness, and that weakness is an assumption. And like we all heard, an assumption is the mother of all fuck-ups. To assume makes an ass out of you and me, and so on and so forth. But that assumption is that you can actually use someone else's content to target me, which in some ways doesn't make that much sense. And that brings us down to a fallacy. Third-party content doesn't tell me anything about you. Publishers have different mandates than advertisers. They got to keep their audience happy. And keeping me happy isn't always keeping advertisers happy. So as long as publishers can keep page views up, they know they can sell their ad spots somewhere, somehow. And that brings us down to the problem with advertising in general. We know that 50% of advertising works. We just don't know which 50% that is. You see, the result is that the only way to move my ad space is to sell it for less than what it's worth. And that means the advertiser loses out because they get less results, and the publisher loses out because they make less money. Which brings me to cloudvertising. Cloudvertising is an extension of cloud computing. And a lot of what contributes to cloud computing is social media. And what social media contributes to cloud computing is user data. It's data by the users, about the users. And let me tell you, when a user is providing that kind of data, you can actually use a user to target an advertiser rather than vice versa. So what is cloud computing? Well, cloud computing is something we're all really familiar with. It means that you don't have to have your own servers and rack space. It means that you don't have to develop your own software. Pretty much what it boils down to is web-based applications, and we're all familiar with those. We use them every day, every time we go online, and every time we conduct any activity. And right here, you got a blueprint of what the cloud looks like. Pretty much, we're outsourcing our hardware, we're outsourcing our data storage, and we're outsourcing our platforms. And anytime we want to interact with any of these items, get that data, use that hardware, we just go online and interface with it. And commerce in the cloud is something we're all very familiar with as well. Google, they have Gmail, they have AdWords. Microsoft, download updates, no problem. They have Hotmail. Yahoo, also email and a search engine. And Amazon, well, their entire catalog of products exists within the cloud and nowhere else for all intents and purposes. But users also exist online in the cloud. Facebook, those are our social interactions online, and that's in the cloud. Delicious, our bookmarks in the cloud. StumbleUpon, that's a user-generated site directory. Flickr, our photos are in the cloud. Twitter, our conversations are in the cloud. And blogs, well, for all intents and purposes, it's our thoughts, opinions, and ideas all existing within the cloud. And that brings me to user-generated data. You see, when users in the cloud, all they're doing is uploading data constantly. They're sharing content, they're producing content. And this content actually tells us a lot more about those users than any demographic analysis ever could. And that's what user-generated data is. So cloudvertising comes down to data mining as a service and hyper-targeting as a service. So we can go online, we can look at the data you've uploaded and produced, and we can use that data to actually hyper-target you rather than letting advertisers guess who it is that they want to reach out to and letting them take the initiative. So what is hyper-targeting? Hyper-targeting is pretty much targeting a user according to their interests, according to their social network, the people they talk to and their interests, according to their location. Anyone have a mobile smartphone? Well, guess what? You're on the web all the time. You're contributing data, and I know your location, so I know exactly where you are and what services are close to you. So what would a cloudvertising platform do? A cloudvertising platform would simply support all three of the major ad models online, but it would also support third-party social media APIs, so it can actually look at your social networks, it can index all that content, and it can mine it and use that to target you with advertising that might actually appeal to you. And publishers would also have their part in all of this. They too would have to let users build up profiles, they'd have to integrate with third-party social media APIs, and they would have to help advertisers mine that data and then target you with the kind of ads that are going to relate to you, whether that's impression-based, click-based, or acquisition-based advertising. You're all looking at me like I'm crazy. Who's doing this? And I'll tell you that. Microsoft right now is building an ad platform that is going to cross-tabulate cost per click, cost per acquisition, and cost per impression advertising, and then give users what they're most likely to click on. Google? Anyone have a Gmail account? Because they're reading your email, and they're going to give you ads based on that. And Federated Media even has something cute that mashes up Bing with Twitter. Anyways, so there's ups and downs, and there's two sides to every coin. And while cloudvertising will give advertisers better conversion, give publishers more money, and give users more relevant ads, there's still the question of privacy because there is no such thing as a free lunch. We go online, we think this is great, we interact, but let's face it, we're signing away our privacy. So that's something you got to think about. So if anyone has any questions at any point, if this has all been completely over your head, please come see me. I'd love to meet you, chat it up, and try to make this a little bit more clear if I can do that.
Okay, that was a great presentation. So without further ado, we'll invite Julien. Julien will continue the second presentation. Julien Smith. Full name. Julien is one of the world's first professional podcasters and frequent speaker on social media and search marketing. He's the co-author of an upcoming book named Trust Agents, Using the Web to Build Influence, Improve Reputation, and Earn Trust, which is co-written with Chris Brogan. The book will also be one of our prizes at the end of the presentation, so make sure you put your cards, and good luck. And here you are.
I'll see what I can do. Thank you very much. If everyone in this room got cancer, the economy would improve. This is what Douglas Rushkoff, right over here on the left, said to Stephen Colbert here on the right about 4 or 5 days ago. And the reality is that it's true. Why would the economy improve if everyone got cancer? It would happen because everyone would need medical insurance, or they would all pay for the service. Therefore, the stock prices would go up for the companies that were involved. This is cancer right here. It doesn't look very good. And so what happens is if we're looking at something where it's like, wait, hold on, this is going to help the economy, but it's bad for people, how does that work? Is that out of tune with humanity? I think the answer is yes. And so if we're looking at one thing and say it does improve, but otherwise it's bad, it means that something is missing from the equation, right? It means, hold on, there's one piece of the equation that we're missing. What piece of the equation is it? I think that in our industry where we are, that it's trust. I think trust is a part of the equation that we're missing, and I think that it's the part that as time goes on, we're going to need to improve upon. Everyone understands what trust is, right? You don't even need to look at this stupid chart. You just need to look at it and go, well, yeah, I like recommendations from people that I know. I trust recommendations more than trusting some random brand that is that's advertising to me in between Super Bowl. It doesn't make any sense. We're going to look at people that we trust, and that's how we're going to have confidence. But here is the part that we're missing. We're looking at the people that we know. We're looking at the people over here on our side that are in our company, and we're treating them like people. We have no problem hanging out with them in the water cooler and spending time with them and going, yeah, shooting the shit or doing whatever. We're going to be able to hang out and treat them like people, but somehow we can't do that with the public at large. The little people. You know what I mean? We're not going to be able to spend time with them and be like, oh, okay, these are the little people. I should be treating them differently. Here I am at my big company, and here are the little people. I have a message to deliver to them. I have a way of speaking to them that is different than the way I speak to my colleagues, and this is where we're doing it wrong. We need to be speaking people like people. In our book, Trust Agents, we have a section called Agent Zero. Like Patient Zero is the first person who ever had AIDS who spread it to everybody else. Agent Zero is the one who's able to spread a message faster than anyone else can. And anyone on the internet is able to spread a message fast. We're able to do this, and we see evidence of it when we look at people like Doug Meacham, who posted a blog post of his interactions on Twitter with the Best Buy CMO. Best Buy CMO over here on Twitter gets really defensive, has a big problem. You don't even need to look at this. You've seen people in companies that get crazy defensive about the way they deal with things and that refuse to have interaction with people as if they are people. But let's calm down. Let's take a breather. Hold on. Because there are many principles that we have to follow. One of them is the fact that we should never be defensive. We should be calming down and relaxing. Taking a breath and being like, okay, I'm going to treat you. Hold on. There's a lack of context on the internet that we don't understand. There's also being part of a group. Being an insider means you can influence other people on the inside of a group. But on the outside of a group, we can't do that. If we're a big company talking to little people, then we can't communicate with them properly, and they're not going to treat us like we're insiders. They're going to treat us a totally different way, and that's going to screw it up, right? We have to be an insider. We can't be an outsider. We can't ignore them. We always have to look at people and be like, I'm going to treat you with the respect that you deserve. If a person comes up to me here after we're talking here like this, I'm not going to be like, hey, and turn my back to them. I would be a douchebag. I would have to treat them like they're regular people and never ignore the people that are talking to you. That's why your Google alerts should be set up. Everything should be set up. Never ignore. We need patience. You know what I mean? This is a Tibetan Buddhist mandala. All of this is colored sand. It's colored motherfucking sand. They take it and they put it in patterns like this, and it takes months with 5 monks working around the clock. We need patience like this to be able to develop trust. It doesn't happen instantaneously, and your quarterly results are not going to help. This is a dog in a sweater. But didn't you learned more about me from this one slide than you did from any other slide, right? Intimacy matters. You know me as a person because of this. Not because of the other crap that I put in front, because of this. But the good news is that it makes all of this is profitable. It's not something where all of a sudden we're not, oh, okay, we have to think about people and all of our profits are going to go down. It works. It works for people on the internet right now, and those people are people that me and my co-author Chris Brogan call trust agents. It is profitable and it works, and we have tons of examples of this going on the internet all over the place. Trust is the equivalent of social capital. Social capital is what we build when we take jokes and we tell jokes between people in bars. Except on the internet, we do that all the time, and it's always written down. It delivers links, it delivers traffic, it delivers social proofing, and a big network. You know what I'm talking about? You get everything that you need if you develop trust. And then all of that can end up paying your bills, because you can end up in a situation where people are looking at you and they're going, oh, okay, you're the email marketing guy. So therefore, every time that I need email marketing, I automatically think of you because you're a friend of mine. You're inside my network. I don't ignore you. I pay attention to you, and I treat you like a human being. We know each other as people. This is my friend Greg Cangelosi. This is Gary Vaynerchuk over here on the right. He does email marketing. He has never marketed to anyone. He just hangs out at our conferences. He's like, hey, how's it going? You want a beer? Let's get a beer. This is his marketing. He doesn't spend any marketing. He has no budget whatsoever for this kind of thing. And yet, he deals with the hugest people in the business. This is Mitch Joel. He doesn't have a marketing budget in terms of his business development either. All he does is blog and podcast. He gets together and he's authentic with people. You want to hang out with him? Go talk to him. He's going to be real to you, and it's going to work on you too. It works for all sorts of people. You know what I mean? This is not something that's just random. People like to be treated equally. This is my friend Brian Simpson from the Roger Smith Hotel in New York City. I spend tons of money at this hotel. So do a bunch of people on Twitter, because he treats people on Twitter like human beings. And when they come over and they're like, hey, I know you from Twitter, he looks at them and he's like, I'm going to treat this person right. I know how to treat them. I know how to treat them like a human being. That is a trust agent. And that's what our book is called. I'm over here and over there and over there. It's not complicated to reach me. Get at me anytime, and I would love to talk to you. Thank you.
Enfin, selon notre troisième conférencier, Sylvain Grandmaison, ceci n'est pas du social media, c'est le titre